get the right screen there, A-Town. You see all these guys right here, man. We got Jeremiah Holloway, we got Kenton Gibbs, and we got C.L. Brown. We're going to have a couple more, man, that's going to be joining us. They get all these guys an opportunity to shine because we shine, they shine. That's what we're all about. But right now, we're so happy to go to our main man. He happens to be a member of my fraternity, too. Actually, C.L. Brown is, too. I just thought about that. No coincidence. But anyway, we got Kenton Gibbs, man, locked on ACC. Wolfpack. What's up, Kenton? How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm great as always, man. It ain't nothing wrong with a Nukes only party. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of frat business going on. But no, I'm excited to be here, man.
Man, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a little time. So you cover NC State, and talk about the things you've seen in camp up until this point. Then jump right into the opponent coming up this week.
Yeah, so, in terms of what was seen in NC State's camp, I think that most of it was pretty much par for the course in terms of Noah Rogers, the Ohio State transfer, being an absolute freak of nature, and there being like the thought of he hasn't played any college football, but his talent is to the point where he's a bit of an undeniable force. But I don't just want to talk about Noah, the entire receiving corps. I think this is the best group of pass catchers as well.
Wow.
I mean, not just stick with the receivers. Justin Jolie and Juice Vereen also making great strides and showing up in excellent ways. I think this is the best group of pass catchers that NC State has had since Torrey Holt and Jericho Cotchery were running the halls at NC State. And that's how deep and talented this wide receiver group is. You've got Dakari Collins on the outside, who showed flashes last year, but we're hearing that he's being more consistent and being a leader in that receiver room. You, of course, I haven't even mentioned the All-American in Kevin Concepcion, the guy who is the main man, who out of that slot, he's almost unguardable. And now that was last year where, literally, he had more receiving touchdowns than the entire team combined outside of him. And so coming back this year where you got to contend with all these different weapons, and Wesley Grimes, another guy who he can absolutely fly, and he is tough as nails when he gets that ball in his hands to get on the ground. So, that passing game is coming along so well that I'm hearing McCall doesn't have to be Superman. He just has to be a really, really good game manager, get the ball to these playmakers, and get out the way.
Man.
Let them cook.
Man, that's an unbelievable report. We talked to wow, man. We talked to Kenton Gibbs, locked on, of course, NC State, ACC, if you will, and he covers the Wolfpack, and he'll be joining us from time to time, man, keeping us up to speed. I had the opportunity to talk to the outstanding quarterback from Coastal Carolina, and seeing like he's that dude, Kenton. Your thoughts on just your initial reaction to the guy coming in to lead the Wolfpack?
Yeah, I hate to say this because he's a college player, but he's really a pro's pro already.
Okay.
He does everything in a very mature manner. I know that demure is the word of the day on social media, but he really is that. He really is this mindful. He really is this guy that everything he does, you can tell he's a very cerebral guy, takes a very cerebral approach to things. And again, he is amazing at starring in his role. His role doesn't have to be the star. He stars in his role, and he's been doing that well all throughout camp. Robert and I has been coaching offenses up since before I was born. I'm bald now, just for those of you who don't know. And so with that in mind, Robert and I saying that this is the fastest he's ever seen a quarterback pick up his system in year one, that should be terrifying for the rest of the ACC, because you combine that type of passing game with an all-ACC running back in Jordan Waters coming right on over from Duke. He probably didn't even have to move apartments to come to NC State. And lo and behold, you could have something really setting up for a special season, especially when me and Donald have been saying all offseason, this year's ACC is more wide open than it's ever been, and Georgia Tech showed us in week 0.
Yeah, sure did.
Week 1 to see that this ACC is wide open. So if these guys from NC State show what they were showing in camp for the rest of the season, I'm telling you, it could be a special year in Raleigh.
Man, by the way, you listeners and viewers, you see why we got Kenton on. He knows what's going on over there. He's locked in and locked on the ACC, in particular Wolfpack. And Kenton, just to let people know, I mean, you know a little bit about this game, don't you?
A little something. I played for 17 years, played for NC State as part of Doran's first recruiting class. So, I know a little something.
Yeah, man, and that's what's going on. We got people that's played the game, that understands the game. So let's get back to your other comment, though. Were you a little surprised about Georgia Tech kind of like dominating the line of scrimmage like they did over Florida State on Saturday?
I'm glad you said that, specifically dominating the line of scrimmage, because I wasn't surprised by Georgia Tech hanging in the game. I wasn't surprised by Georgia Tech keeping it close. I was surprised that they won, and I was surprised by the way that they won.
Yes.
When you think about who Georgia Tech was last year, it was all about Haynes King. It was Jamal Haynes is special in his own right, but don't get me wrong, he's a dual threat running back that can receive out of the backfield and do special things with the ball under his right arm, regardless of how you do it. But it was all about the passing game. And to see that, Florida State was said to have a top 5 defensive line in the country.
Right.
Everywhere, not in the ACC, in the entire America, and not just continental America, because we got Hawaii out there too. So you're looking at the situation where people are screaming, this is a top 5 D-line, they got all this talent, they got talent transferring in, and for them to just be pushed off the ball, and Lord forbid we talk about that offensive line from Florida State. Everybody said, DJU doesn't need to be amazing. Everybody around him is so good. He can just be good enough, and we'll figure it out. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They were thoroughly whooped up front, and it was surprising to me because, again, Georgia Tech was the worst team in the ACC, and I believe one of the bottom 5 in all of the Power 5 last year in terms of rushing yards allowed per game, with 222 per game.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden Santucci got there and coached these boys up to fill up every gap in an amazing fashion. I'll tell you what, if Coach Elko ain't doing what he needs to do down there at Texas Tech, he's going to regret not taking Santucci with him, because that was two years straight now, an unranked team in the ACC defeats a top 10 ranked opponent, and both of them coached by Santucci. What a job by him. What a job by those young men. I mean, it's surprising that they won in general, but more surprising that they did it in a physical, hard-nosed, downhill, no-frills manner.
Right, man. We talked to Kenton Gibbs, who's locked on ACC Wolfpack, reporting on the NC State. Real quickly, Kenton, this week, opening game, give us a quick snapshot on what's going on with the Pack in the opening game.
Yeah, so this is what people like to refer to as a warm-up game against Western Carolina. Don't get me wrong, they were a high-flying offense last year, but they lost their offensive coordinator, who was the head coach's son, by the way. It was the exact opposite of what happened at Iowa with Kirk Ferentz, where he had to fire his son because his son wasn't doing well enough.
Right.
No. At Western Carolina, they were doing so well offensively that his son moved on to greener pastures and is now going to be in the ACC at Pitt. But with that being said, Western Carolina is a team that they want to go high up-tempo. They want to throw the ball around the yard. I don't quite think they have the horses in the stable to hang with NC State. But NC State needs to take a look at Florida State and what happened and say, it ain't about the talent. You need to show up with the right energy and temperament, because that really is going to be what this entire season is about for NC State, not just this game. When you look up and down the NC State schedule, you're not going to see 3 to 4 games where teams have more talent, just more sheer talent than NC State. That's not going to be the case. Western Carolina is going to be another one of those games. So this game is going to be about, does NC State come out with the right energy to say, you know what, we cannot play around and play with our food, because if you play with your food, somebody else is going to eat. They need to show up and dominate, leave no doubt early, make sure that team is defeated early, and go get, as the Saints say, get right, church, and let's go home.
Well, let me tell you something. You're talking about they got to come with the right kind of energy. Thank you for bringing energy this morning, man, this Monday morning. You bringing the energy and all the smoke for the Locked On ACC Wolfpack, Kenton Gibbs. Hey, man, thank you so much. I can't wait to talk to you next time, brother. Appreciate you doing this, man. We're going to have a good time this season, brother.
Absolutely. Always happy to be here, Big Tom.
Take care.